few separate questions for Tom and Candice. For Tom, first of all, I did love you and Ed. It's the first thing I ever noticed you in. But I wanted to know, because my favorite Harrison Wells you played was from Earth 2, and I loved the relationship you developed with Jesse. I'm just wondering, how was it working with Violet Bean in developing that relationship? And then for Candice, I think Iris does have a superpower, and it's her role as a journalist. It's like kind of like Lois Lane in the Superman universe. That's her superpower, to get the truth out and the word out. I'm just wondering if we actually see more of that from Iris this season, using that, her superpower role, as the role of a journalist.
Oh yeah, that's me.
Whoever wants to go first.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I think, this is what I always say about Iris, and I love the romance that is happening between her and Barry, but I'm always advocating for more of seeing her at work, because women, we are more than just the men we are in love with or, have romances with. So, yes, I'm always advocating for seeing her with agency and at her job. We do get to see a little bit more of that this season. So yeah, I think hang tight. And I agree with you, I do think that is a part of her superpower.
Yeah, I think that's really well said. That as a journalist and covering things and getting the word out, that's one of the greatest things we see Iris West do. And I think it's so necessary, so incredibly necessary for our show to see that, she has as much worth as anybody. Because of her job and because of the person that she is. As for me, what the heck was your question? Something about Harry Wells?
Was you working with Violet Bean and developing that relationship with you and Jesse Quick, or Jesse...
Oh yeah, well, one of the great things I was given last year was a goal. Every actor, ultimately we're doing The Flash, and so in many ways it's our job to support The Flash's goal and to team up to help The Flash achieve a goal. That's just necessary when you do a comic book show called The Flash. But the writers have done an exceptional job, giving her journalistic acumen, giving Carlos his vibe obstacle or something he's drawn toward, and all these stories that energize us and give us a goal. And for Harry last year, his goal was to protect his family, and there's no more important goal than that. And so it was a very clean line for me to play, because ultimately what he had to do was protect his daughter. Like, his whole soul purpose was protecting his daughter, and everything else fell by the wayside. He needed to keep Jessie safe, and along the way, crazy things happened, and she's evolving in her own right. But as a parent, that goal was just an incredible thing to play. It made it really, really worthy for me, and I think for the audience, he made it very clear this guy was just trying to protect his own. And so sometimes that made him antagonistic, and when people didn't agree with his goals, he didn't really care. He wasn't afraid to say he didn't care what they thought. But it was a good thing to play, and I'm hoping that Violet, we see a lot more of Violet. She's tremendous.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
This show has really been interesting in launching something that you've never really seen on TV before, which is this multi-series crossover. And I realize we can't really talk about the plot or anything, but I am curious about
Here's what happens.
Here's what happens. Here's break it down.
So, Brandon Routh, legend. Okay.
Speak to the technical challenges of working with 3 other shows, about having actors come onto your show. I mean, there's also joys of getting to play off of people that you don't get to normally act with. So just speak to that a little bit, the technical component, but also the joy as actors in these crossovers.
I'm going to speak to the technical component first. We have we've got a cadre of people, Colin and JP, Bonnie, Lucia, and these are the people in our production office who basically run these crossovers, because it's really hard to do one show. It's very difficult to organize one show. It's a lot harder than it might seem. To try and do 2 shows in the same period of time, that's impossible. And to try and do 4 shows in the same time, it can't be done. And so somehow the scheduling works out, and it is the biggest puzzle to put together these pieces, and the unsung heroes are the people who manage to get it done, because it can't really be done. Anybody would tell you I've worked in television for 117 years, and you can't do 2 shows at once, it just can't be done. especially if what you're asking is like the leads on each show, do the lead storyline, but also, she's got to do the lead storyline and then also go over and do this and that on 3 other shows. I mean, it's an impossible undertaking that somehow manages to happen because of the people behind the scenes making it work. And then the rest of us get to show up. We're told, you're going to Supergirl or doing this scene and, in a hangar with like 17 other people and here are your lines. And so we just show up and do it. We're the beneficiaries of all this incredible planning that happens. And I think it's done for the audience, and I think you like it, right? It's great to be able to see some of these people, like old friends who suddenly are like on our show, and it's always a pleasure to see those people again. It's the multiverse is, for us, the superhero world, it's quite small. All these people have become like quite good friends, even though we don't share the same show, we sort of share the same universe, and we all get along. It's really a tremendous group, so getting a chance to play with them is a pleasure, right?
Yeah, absolutely. To piggyback on that, make no mistake about it, it is quite the feat to get these shows made and on the air for you guys, and it can be quite draining for someone like Grant or, the main characters, but we see how much you guys enjoy them that I don't think that will ever go away. It's so worth the lack of sleep and the lack of energy just to see how much the fans really enjoy these crossovers. I mean, so I think it's something that's going to happen for years to come, and we are glad to do it.
Yeah. You say that now, but when it's like 6 or 10 shows that are crossing over, then we'll talk. But no, it really is it's an achievement. It's such an amazing achievement for TV to see all of these things happen together.
And like Tom was saying, it's not just us, it's all of the crew making it work, the production making it work. They are really, really busting their butts to make us look good and give you guys a great product that you can enjoy. So there's so many people behind the scenes. We take a lot of credit because we're on the front lines, but God, I hope you guys know that there are thankless crew members that are really, really
So I think we only have time for like 2 quick questions. So I think Sue's at the mic right now.
I'm gonna give mine up to the
that's a Supergirl thing to do.
Hi, I have a question for both of you. As the fact that Trump will become the president of the United States, and some people blame it for Barry Allen. So if it really happened in Central City, will you allow Barry to go back and change the timeline again?
So it's getting a little bit real here. He's saying, is Barry Allen the reason for the results of the U.S. election? And if this took place in Central City, would you encourage him to go back in time and change that? I'm going to give them an out if they want to on that question, because it's sort of a tricky question, but yeah.
I'll take it.
Okay.
First, no. Barry Allen is not responsible for Trump getting elected. Second, here's a silver lining if everything has a silver lining. The world is how the world is, and you can either hope that it's not there, or you can face up and see what it is. And so this election has shown us the monsters that are out there. So on The Flash, it's like, all right, instead of keeping them hidden underneath the rug, there it is, right? So what are you going to do about it? And Barry Allen is the kind of person that we all hope to be, that I hope to be in the next 4 years going forward, that says, you know what? As opposed to ignoring it, one of the famous quotes that I like to live by is, fear faced is fear conquered. Here's the fear coming out. Now we face it. Now we conquer it. That's what the 4 years of superhero fighting are ahead of us. And I'm happy to have people like Grant Gustin, like Candice Patton, like all those people on my side as we take on what is actually a real and an important fight.
Knocked it out of the park. Final question.
Okay. Hi, my question is not not as like political or intelligent as that one.
Thank God.
In August, they announced that you guys are doing a musical crossover with Supergirl. Have you gotten the script for it? And if you haven't, what songs would you like to sing? And are you willing to give us a bit of a preview?
So I'm going to give them a pass on singing on stage. But if they, have any thoughts about that, so you guys haven't got, you haven't even gotten a script yet, right? Have you?
No, I've just gotten up to 14.
Yeah.
So I don't know anything about the crossover, to be honest.
Yeah.
Here's what I think about the crossover. 3 words. Jump the shark. I think anytime somebody attempts a musical, it's like, we're done, good night, thank you. We just want to throw this musical out there for you. But I will say this about the Berlanti-verse. The man has been fearless. But around the time that Captain Cold happened on our show, I turned to Greg Berlanti. You know who Greg Berlanti is?
Yeah.
Hollywood's golden boy, yes? So, and I said, are we all at all worried about story? Meaning we're really moving forward quickly, And Greg said verbatim, there's always more story. And so what I like about his fearlessness attacking stories is, you know what? Now we're gonna throw a musical out there because we're not afraid. And I love that about this guy. He's like, he's not afraid. We're gonna do a musical. And look, when they yell cut, more often than not, there's some form of music.
Yeah. It's already a musical, we just don't film it.
Yeah. Carlos and I have the guitars, this is true, right? We have the guitars out all the time backstage. I mean, all the time.
Felton now too.
Tom Felton nonstop yesterday. Yeah, Tom Felton did it, and I did a Beatles cover of Oh Darling, which was terrible. But we're playing all the time. All the time. It's not a coincidence that HR carries drumsticks around with him. If ever a cast was set up to do a musical, Jesse Martin, Rent, there's nothing that Candice can't do.
Candice Patton, the shower.
Tom Felton is ridiculously talented, and I think the linchpin, I'll go on record for this, is the genius that is Carlos Valdez. I've done Broadway musicals, I've done a decade worth of musicals before ever doing the television show Ed, for example, and I've never come across a talent like this guy, which is saying something. He is the Lin-Manuel Miranda of our generation. He's sublime, and if we kind of hitch our wagon to him, I think we have a chance of not being canceled.
I just want to watch the outtakes on like a DVD extra, or like just the behind the scenes of all of you guys like singing together. That like just a concert piece would be enough for me. Just to watch all of you guys come together.
I think my Instagram thing has got a couple of things up with Valdez leads the 4, but yeah, it's shameless. We plan to be shameless on camera next.
There you go. On that note, Fan Expo Vancouver, you guys have been awesome. Please give it up.